creativity. I've just been searching for a tweet on Threads. Is that how I'm going to say that? For ages, and it's because it ignited this idea in me that I've been trying to put words to, and it's this idea that creativity and creative jobs they're not like factory work, and that's kind of the premise of the tweet. And if you have a problem with me calling it a tweet, go and talk to John Green or Hank Green, one of the two. Creative jobs aren't factory jobs. The amount of effort you put in is not necessarily the reward you get out. The time that you put in isn't a linear correlation with what you produce. What do I mean by that? A lot of the time I spend as a creative is the planning, the thinking through, the setup, and the little bits of tweaking. And I left this camera running, I left this camera and another camera running while I was working today to try and visualize some of this. There's a lot of time that's gone into thinking about what this is going to look like beforehand. And this is the most simple shoot in the world. It's 5 products, 5 shots, so 25 photos in total on a white background. It's super simple. What goes into it is so much more than just put the product there, set the lights up, and do the thing. It doesn't work like that. What you put into it doesn't correlate linearly to what comes out. 25 photographs, you might think that doesn't sound like much. It took me the day, and that's not a reflection on my talent as a photographer, I don't think. I think to do this well, a day is what you have to give it. Because it's only 25 shots, each one has to be almost perfect. Because it's so few and such a simple product, nothing around to distract it, it has to be perfect. Another thing about creativity is it needs space. It needs space in the most literal sense, like I have here, but it needs space in the figurative sense as well. The sense that maybe 70% of the work is invisible. 70% of the work can't be quantified. It's only that last 30% where you actually see stuff being created. And that was this tweet. That was kind of what it said as well. It was, because you can't measure it, you can't put your finger on exactly what's happening there, doesn't mean as a manager or as a client that you can kind of come in and say, what are you doing here? Why is this not happening quicker? Why is this not being... And this isn't a slight on any clients I've got at the moment. Everyone's great at the moment, actually. This is a wider thought on creativity. The chance of finding me actually taking photographs is relatively low. If you put a pin in a calendar and come and find me at that time and date, there's a good chance that I won't be behind the camera. I'll be doing something else. I'll be reading, I'll be watching something, I'll be learning something, I'll be elsewhere. But that is all work that goes into the final photo. I remember a thing about pricing ages ago, and I kind of hate it in this context, but it's like, you aren't paying for me for 15 minutes, you're paying for the 15 years of learning I had. And I get the premise behind that, but maybe my idea comes to me because of something else. Maybe my idea for a shoot, and today's a bad example because this is e-com shots that just have to look right. This is the closest I get to factory work. But it might have not have taken me 15 years to learn something that it took someone else 15 years to learn. And so do I get paid less then? No, because it's about what comes out at the end. And if someone creates something, a fluke, it doesn't mean that it's worth anything less. If someone came up with an incredible photograph, an idea, and they could produce it, but they'd never picked up a camera before, it doesn't detract from the value of the final piece. The creativity is still there. And that's kind of what rubs me up a little bit the wrong way with that. The idea of like, it's the 15 years I've put into this so far. Because it isn't about the time you put in. It's about your ability to put something new into the world. It's about your ability to be creative. And it doesn't necessarily take time and learning to become creative. For me, it can be difficult. It can be frustrating. It can be upsetting at times, because sometimes it's like having a word sort of on the tip of your tongue, but you can't think what it is. And this happened to me the other day, actually. I was getting so frustrated because I couldn't think of the word ambition, and it was ridiculous. I was talking to Katie, and I said, something, I got this idea for a video, one of the videos that came out the other day, and I was like, I can't think of the word. What's the word? And it was obviously, I know the word, and there was just this mental block, and I knew it was there, but I couldn't get it out. And sometimes that is the same with creativity. There's this thing that we say sometimes on shoots when we're kind of getting frustrated with a shot not working out, and this is usually something that has more moving parts than some slippers on a white background. It's shit until it's not. And it's shit until it's not is this, like, it's a jab at ourselves, where we're like, no, hate it, and you change a little thing, and we know that the image is there, but it's like that thing of it being on the tip of your tongue. It's not emerging until it does, and there'll be one thing that gets moved. Maybe the camera moves a little bit, the light moves, there's a straw that breaks the camel's back, and it's shit until it's not. And the whole time you're complaining, and then, no, it's great, that's it, hold it there, you'll get the shot. And I think that's a good way to look at creativity. This build-up of stuff that isn't the thing, and to anyone else looking in, they would think that this is wasted time. But you push through, and the final result emerges at the end, and it's a product of everything that came before it, even if you can't measure it in the state it is for the first 70% of the time.